guys, it's Paula Nutting, your musculoskeletal specialist, and welcome to, I think, the first of the Ask Me Anythings for a couple of months, because I had some hacking issues with the computer or with M.A.T, so we couldn't get anything out here. Anyway, I'm very, very excited because A, we're back, and B, I've got a killer presentation today. I've one of the guys that I had the great opportunity to meet for a week in Costa Rica last year. I'm just going to say it's Scott Doss because I cannot pronounce his middle two names, but I'm going to get him to do that. He is going to be in Australia this year, towards the end of this year, teaching the M.A.T, so Myoskeletal Alignment Technique, which is Erik Dalton's inspiration and his practice. But I want to talk more about what it's meant to Scott for his adventures down that path, and a few other things that I think you might find interesting. So I'm going to get Scott to come on down. I think he's going to be over here, and we can introduce and have a chat. So come on down, Scott.
Hey, Paula, how you going?
He's on the way. He was away in shot. I'm good. I'm awesome.
Watch it.
I was like, nope, he's not there. There he is. It's great to see you. How do you pronounce your middle two names?
So Forgione is my Italian name from my family. Long story, but it was changed over the years because of some mafia dealings, and I wanted to honor that side of the family, so I kind of brought it back. Oglesby is my born last name. So it's B-A-Y, it's a silent A. My great-grandfather was the one who added the silent A because he was a poet and a very interesting guy. And then, of course, Doss, that's my husband's last name.
Unreal. Like, so how do you pronounce the whole from go to O?
Scott Forgione Oglesby Doss.
Yeah, there you go. And that's why we've just called him Scott Doss, folks, because I can't do that. I'm better before we start, this is really interactive, guys. So if you've got any questions or comments that you want to ask, put them in the chat, because this is live, right? So we can answer. It's not like a Zoom recorded meeting. It's something that you guys can totally interact and ask a bazillion questions of Scott. And the other wonderful thing is that we can also answer your questions after it in the recording. So if you watch this afterwards and you go something about some M.A.T on a shoulder or nerves or something, then you can still ask that, and then we can shoot it to Scott and he can answer for you. Cool? So last thing I want to do is I want to mercilessly plug Wonderful Q Academy. Now, they are our sponsors for the Ask Me Anything podcast. They are a Queensland-based educational platform. They do face-to-face, they do online learning, and they do combination face-to-face and online. And they work in the health industry for remedial massage, myotherapies, and they're trying to move forward into an associate degree. So that'll be very cool that we can kind of filtrate people up through towards that allopathic health industry from our complementary health medical model. So thank you for those guys, and we'll get more information about them later. So without ado, Scott, talk to me, because you're coming over here and I got a chance to meet you, and I really want to know, one of the comments you made was, I did my first myoskeletal seminar and was basically hooked. Tell us about your journey. Like, tell us about your journey and then integration into myoskeletal work.
Yeah, so it's really funny. I started at the Ben Benjamin Massage Therapy Institute in New England. And after I graduated, worked for a physical therapy office for a while. And once I moved to Atlanta, I was working for Delta Airlines as their lead therapist. And I was still very much in the spa world, but what I thought at the time, the far therapeutic end of the spa world. So I had a really good friend of mine who was having back pain, and she lives in Mexico. And so I was heading down to visit, and she's like, I was looking for stuff online to find out what's going on with my back and how to help it. And I found this video of this guy doing this thing. And could you do this to me when you get here?
Hey guys, it's Paula Nutting, your musculoskeletal specialist. And this is that awkward, cheesy kind of part of the video where I ask you a big favor. So if you want great content and lots of information, you can see down here in the little testimonials, there's free manual therapy information. There's really cool stuff on necks, shoulders, backs, hips, wrists, arms, etc., etc. I've got amazing Ask Me Anything podcasts and vodcasts that you can get free access to. If you want to get that great content, can I please ask you 3 things? 1, can you please subscribe to my channel? 2, can you hit the like button? And as they say, just smash the heck out of that like button. The more information that YouTube gets to me, the more I can give content to you. And if you can click on the bell, that will also give you timelines for when I'm actually dropping something into YouTube so that you can access it really quickly. So subscribe, like, and click on the bell, and I'm hoping to get you as much great content as I possibly can. Paula Nutting, your musculoskeletal specialist.
And I was like, okay, well, let's check out this video and see what's going on. And I'm watching this, and it's Erik doing sciatic nerve floss. And I was like, okay, well, I've never seen anything like this before, but heck yeah, I'll give it a try. And there were a few other techniques, I think, in the post that she forwarded to me. So I went down and I tried it out. And when you know, it helped her like crazy. Like she was healed. It was like magic moment. And I'm like, what is this thing that I just did? I got to know more about this.
Yeah.
So I went to the first workshop. It was in West Palm Beach. Erik was there. Paul Kelly was teaching it. And so the class was phenomenal. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen. And I quickly became a workshop junkie. I went to class after class, just like, oh, that's a great technique. That's a great technique. And started practicing a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And there you go, down the track. How many years ago was that?
That was 2016. So 9 years ago.
9 years. Yeah. And here you are teaching.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't stop. I started studying, and I got to be so frequent in the workshops that Tammy McHugh, she was like, you know what? You should be a TA. And I was like, oh no, I don't know if I could do that. I'm not that good. No. She's like, I think you would make a really good TA. So sure enough, I tried TAing and I absolutely loved it. And that was, I don't know, probably like another kind of drug, because now I could go to all the workshops that I wanted to, right? For free, yeah. And at one point, Tammy was like, and I have to give her a lot of credit too, because she's really the one who supported me and pushing me into doing this. And because I didn't know that I had it in me to do it, but she really saw that. And she gave me an opportunity to teach one afternoon for a little segment, just doing a demo on some technique. And I got up there. I was really nervous, and some guy in the class was trying to goof me up and asking a question, and he was wrong, I was right, so it got me kerfluffled, and I thought the whole thing was terrible. And afterwards, she was like, "You were amazing," and I was like, "You know what? I really felt like I did a good job, and I really liked that." So then she let me do it again and again, and before I knew it, I was hooked. I'm like, okay, I could absolutely be an instructor in this.
Yeah. So you were mostly TAing for Tammy?
I TA'd mostly for Tammy and also for Erik.
When did you flip over for Erik?
So in Oklahoma, they would have a lot of TAs there. So I was amongst a big group of TAs there. But then Costa Rica started for me, I would say, gosh, when was the first time I went? Probably 2019.
Okay.
And I've been going pretty much ever since.
So even though Erik has passed, which is tragic, will Costa Rica still go ahead?
Absolutely.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So you and Nate and Tammy?
It's me and Nate who are going to be taking over Costa Rica. Over the last 3 years, Erik's kind of been grooming Nate and I to take that over. And so, yeah, I mean, unofficially, he wasn't saying that we're going to take it over. Of course, we weren't anticipating he would be leaving us so soon
Yeah.
and so tragically. But with the amount of work that we've done with him over the last several years in Costa Rica, we're well equipped to take over and have a really good time.
Do you know what? When being in that, having the fantastic opportunity to be there for Erik's presentation for that 5 days and seeing you both and Linda? No, who was
Judy.
Judy. You guys, I could just see you were so professional, and you could see that you were like, you're all over the tech side. If there was a glitch with anything on the links, you guys, like, it looked like you have been groomed beautifully just to step in when Erik was going to say, do you know what, guys, I think I'm just going to hang around with the toucans and do some more walking and chill out, and you like handball it to you. So yeah, I have no doubt that you guys won't be amazing. And anyone who's interested in doing the course, my gorgeous friend Libby Jones of Flaherty and she came from Ireland, I came up from Australia. But it's a great opportunity to come and do the course, like this great big week-long event. But you're coming to Australia, you're doing Geelong for, is it 2 days?
It's a 2-day course in Geelong. I'm doing upper and lower body workshop.
Yeah, and then the same in Gold Coast, upper and lower body as well.
I'm doing brain-based body work in that one. So 2 different ones. So if you wanted to come to both and get 4 unique days of work, you can do that. And there are some people who signed up already who are doing that, which is exciting.
Oh, wow, that's exciting. Yeah. Because Australia is so small, we can just flip from, no, I'm kidding. I'm just at the back end of one of these horrible lurgies that has the 100-day cough after, so excuse me if I'm coughing. No, great work. Like it is such an interesting concept. And the thing that I like about the work that you guys do is that Erik has been streaming it since 1926, right? He's been putting free techniques for freaking ever. Will you be doing the same?
For what do you mean?
Adding a YouTube, like adding more content, because the stuff that we would see with Erik doing video YouTube links and sending them out.
Great question. Yeah, so there is some stuff in the works. I know they're going to be doing some videotaping in Oklahoma that we're doing this summer in July in a couple months. And we're going to be contributing to magazine articles and working on stuff like that. So we are, yeah, working on it. We're trying to come up with a plan. You know, it was pretty sudden that we lost Erik, and it's really, I mean, I, of course, was really shocked when it happened. And then I taught my first class. Like, the shock went through me. I grieved, and then some time went by before I taught my first class, like a month or two. And I was right there at the beginning of class, ready to do my thing, gave my intro spiel, and then there's within my lecture, there's a little bit of a presentation by Erik talking about things. And as soon as I hit play and I heard his voice and I saw him, it's gonna make me cry again.
Yeah, you would.
I just lost it right in front of the whole class. And I just had to pause the video, and I had to, like, just have a real heart-to-heart moment with everyone, and just kind of have a moment of silence and gratitude and
yeah, and
everything that he did.
He was such a beautiful human being, and that That's that vagal nerve, right? Right there and there. Present and accounted for. We can gargle. We should sing now because that will help our vagal nerve.
That's right. I'm
because-
humming, I'm breathing.
Get into those ears,
Yeah.
wind that down, Jesus. I know it makes me. It's the same thing, and bloody hell, so we should be able to friggin' honor him, right? Like, you know, if we
Yeah.
can't have a tear up in front of a class, then we're not human.
Well, it was a really cathartic moment. I mean, everyone in the classroom was in tears, and we just had a good old group cry, and it felt really good to get it out and to just honor him and his legacy and then continue on with the class. And it was a really good bonding moment.
Yeah. Why was he called the goat?
The greatest of all time.
Ah! I thought it was because he had the goatee and I thought,
Oh, yeah, it's an acronym for greatest of all time.
oh, that's cool. Very, very cool. Okay, awesome. So explain to people who don't know what M.A.T is, what M.A.T is.
Yeah. Pretty simple in a way. It's a unique, I'll break it down first. Myoskeletal, not too different from your musculoskeletal. Myo is Latin for muscle. So it focuses on using the muscles and the bones to affect the body more deeply. So it's an alignment-based technique. So myoskeletal alignment therapy. So there's a lot of focus on osteopathic assessments to try and see what's going on. And then you use the bones as levers to affect deeply in the body. So if you're just working skin deep like this and you push really hard, that's deep pressure. But deep tissue, if you are able to move the tissue, then you can get not just that part and where you were getting deeper, but all the surrounding parts and everything on the other side too. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, like it makes sense. And I had a treatment from someone over there. I've since had a hip replacement, but prior to that, I've had a terrible hip that I could not get any resolution from. And one of the girls that works in Costa Rica, everyone said, go see her, see her. And I probably got close to 3 weeks of pain-free joint capsular stuff from her, and she was using the Myoskeletal Alignment system, so it was amazing.
Yeah.
What makes it different to other modalities?
So some of the hallmarks of myoskeletal alignment therapy are the first goal really is to level the head and the tail. So if somebody comes in and they're talking about their shoulder pain, we're still going to look at the shoulder. Of course, you want to let the client know that they've been heard. So you're going to touch that 100%, but you're also going to pay attention to what's happening in the neck and in the sacrum. The spine sits on the sacrum. So if the sacrum's not level, then things start to get a little wonky. And then if the head's not level, things get wonky. And shoulder pain can often come from the neck. So you can start tying things back together, but you want to have a good central core, nice in alignment, and then you start looking through the extremities. So I like that focus on alignment as part of myoskeletal alignment therapy. Like if you have a client who's laying on the table, right? They're laying face down and you see one side of the rib cage is high and the other one is low. You know, when I went to school, we didn't really learn how to treat that. You know, we didn't really even diagnose it. I mean, that's not really our place or our scope as a massage therapist, at least in the United States. We don't do any diagnosing. But I was like, well, what would I do? So I'd want to rub on that high side. Well, it's actually the low side that you probably want to be releasing. The high side's the weak side. And myoskeletal alignment therapy is what helps you to start to look at the body and to assess, not just with your eyes, but also with range of motion. I think what else makes it different is there's graded exposure, the concept of graded exposure. It's all pain-free, and I love that about it.
So what's graded exposure mean? Some people won't understand that term.
Yeah, so if somebody comes in with pain, let's say they can't go any further than this with their arm, if you can see my arm here. So what you're going to do is you're never going to take them past that. You're just going to take them up to it, and then right to the feather edge. They'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I can feel that. And then you're going to come back out of it.
Yeah.
Then you're going to go back to it again. And maybe you can go a little bit further. What you're doing is repetitive. It's predictable. And this is very calming to the brain, because when you get there and they're like, oh, well, that didn't hurt. Oh, well, that didn't hurt. Oh, well, that didn't hurt. The brain starts to remember, well, it's not going to hurt when we go there. And then maybe you can go a little bit further. And so this concept of graded exposure helps you to get into places where there might be pain, instead of yanking on it and trying to pull it, they're just crying on the table, or what are you doing to me? Yeah.
That's so we're working on the nervous system innately in there, right? Working on that
That's right.
ascending and descending modulation pathways to make sure that they kind of go, well, that now is ascending. It's saying that I'm okay, and then so I love that that is part of that technique, and that would go through everything, right? Neck, rotations, lateral flexions, etc.
Of course, yeah, you want to down-regulate that nervous system. It's also building trust with your client, which is going to help release dopamine, which is going to release brain chemicals. That's going to help with the healing process. I mean, it just starts this positive feedback loop.
Yeah, awesome. So axial system, skull, pelvis. With the pelvis, we're looking at hip heights, anteriorizing, posteriorizing, torsions, things like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then he has
nutation, counter nutation, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's what they'll be learning in Geelong.
We're going to be learning that in both of them. Yeah. So there's a little bit of overlap between some of them, because a lot of the fundamental principles are they're baked into every single workshop, because you got to have that. The Geelong class is really going to be more of an introductory to myoskeletal alignment therapy. So for anyone who's never been to it, that would be a great one to go to. The one that I'm doing in Gold Coast is going to be a little bit more advanced. It's technically a 3-day class that's condensed into 2 days, 64 techniques. So it's a big class, lots to go through, but I don't want that to intimidate anyone, because we have a really good time in the class and I make it enjoyable, and I tie it all together.
Okay, I've got to ask a question. Will you be bringing your Britney Spears wig with you?
I've been known to have a guest appearance at my workshops, so that's I don't know if she'll fit in my bag or not, but we'll have to see.
If you're thinking about going to Gold Coast or to Geelong, even if you've got a little bit of an inkling about what Scott might do, it's probably worth coming down. Do you have a TA for you, or are you on solo?
I do have TAs, yes.
Thank God. Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
I know, because I don't unless I've got more than 25 people, and it is a push. Like I had 42 people in Calgary, and I had a second person there, and we were still running with skates on. So no, it helps for an integrative model. In America, you guys use the term medical massage. We don't tend to use that term here in Australia. What is the difference between M.A.T and medical massage?
It's a little bit of a tricky question, but I would say that technically myoskeletal alignment therapy would fall under medical massage umbrella.
Okay.
I feel like medical massage is probably encompasses the far end of the therapeutic range of massage. And that's not to say that all massage isn't therapeutic. There's, relaxation massage, there's scar work, there's all of this. It's all therapeutic. They just have different goals. And so when you have the medical massage word, I feel like that's trying to encompass all things that are more goal-oriented, targeted specific work.
Okay. All right. That's cool. I don't know if I've been muted. So I just saw this little thing saying my mic's been muted, but I'm assuming that it's not. You can hear me, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Don't know what that was about. Yeah. So it's interesting. We have diplomas and then certificates, and we have advanced diplomas and degrees in health science. So it depends on where we fit into that. We don't. I wish we did have the terms that were more medical, etc., because it kind of does give a connotation. Everyone knows what manual lymphatic drainage means. Everyone knows what scar tissue treatment work means. It's a bit tricky when you have remedial massage as a term, because people go, well, remedy is not really a word that's kind of used so much anymore. So it would be nice to change the taxonomy of how we speak. I know we get doozy clients or patients or whatever. Can you give us an example of someone who's come in as a crippled mess into your clinic and they've come bouncing out like, hallelujah?
I can, yes. It's a funny story. I tell this story in my workshops just to highlight how effective myoskeletal alignment therapy is. I was working with a colleague of mine at a call center. This place hired us to come in and work on their employees for 6 hours. We did 15-minute sessions, and there were 2 of us in the room. And of course, as soon as we said, we're coming in on Wednesday, here's the list, it would get filled up within seconds.
Wow.
People were fighting for slots.
Mhm.
And it was always in a chair. But when I started doing this, I was like, I need to have a table. And so I brought a table in to do my work. And I remember one of the employees who came in, she told me that she had a shoulder issue that has been bugging her for like 10 years or something like that. It was something chronic. She's been to everybody. Nobody's been able to figure it out. She's been to chiropractors, acupuncturists, this and that. And at this point, I didn't know a lot about M.A.T. I was still early in my studies with M.A.T. And so I just did some of the fairly simple things that I knew. One of them being a pec stretch. It was a PNF stretch. So it's where you have somebody press against resistance to a count of 5, and then after 5 seconds, you take it a little bit further.
Mhm.
And what was really crazy about this is that I just did one pec stretch, and I'm also teaching pec stretches and other parts about the pec in Oklahoma that's coming up this summer. So I'm glad, because this is a story I'm going to tell in OKC as well. I just did that one stretch, and then something shifted in her shoulder, and it was loud. And it wasn't dislocated, like she hadn't dislocated her shoulder, like that wasn't the problem. But whatever had happened, there was this big clunk, and all of us in the room heard it. And of course, I'm shaking. I'm like, oh, did I hurt you? What happened? And it was just the most gentle technique. And then she goes, my shoulder, it's fixed.
Oh,
It was just like a miracle. She's like so happy and crying, and then I found out like a month or 2 later that not long after that she was pregnant. So I think she was so happy that her shoulder was fixed. I don't know.
some alignment. There you go. Retrograded pelvis to who knows.
Yeah, I don't know. So she felt so good that she went out and she had a good time.
But not with you, right? Because your
That was
husband.
me. No.
I'm hoping that we might be able to put a little bit of a plug out for the Q Academy team. If the guys behind the scenes have seen my little messages, and then we can get back to our conversations, because I want to know how to become a master, Matt, and like a few other interesting questions. So I'm happy we can get a chance to showcase some stuff with Q Academy right now.
My name is Jade Afu. I studied Cert 4 massage in 2014 and then went on to remedial in 2015. I was working in ASICs. I was retail, Lorna Jane. The real reason why I went and studied was my daughter was, she's been quite sick for about 7 years on and off. She's had a couple of chronic conditions. So I found it hard working in a job and having to leave because my children are sick, or I've got to go to hospital, or there's just so many things going on. For me, I needed another option. I've been set up for about 8 years now, working from home. Having a home business has been like such a blessing to my life. I don't think I could have done what I've done somewhere else just with my own circumstances. My life's very busy. I've got 3 kids. And this year has been a little bit different again because now I've got 3 kids playing sports every afternoon. So I do try, if I can, work in between school hours. I feel like you can make it work to your advantage. So you can either work as hard as you want and be stressed and all the things, or you can make it flexible.
And we're back. So if you've not, don't forget, a lot of people go through their midlife changes. We do things at 7 years, 14 years, 21, 28, etc., etc. So you don't always have to start off when you finish school in this industry, but we definitely always slide over at some stage into some kind of work path changes, and that if you're interested, that's a place to go. Scott, when did you? Because you didn't start straight from college to massage, or did you go straight from?
No, I took a very meandering path to get where I am today. I went to school at the University of Missouri in Columbia, Missouri, and my major was international studies with an emphasis in East Asia. Fun fact, I'm fluent in Japanese. I can read it and write it and speak it.
Wow. Wow.
It's mostly a party trick these days because there's not too many Japanese people around, but I do have some Japanese friends that I get to keep it up a little bit with. But after I graduated, I lived in Japan for several years and taught for the Ministry of Education. And then when I came back, I went to work in Boston for an international travel company. And I was with them for 14 years, but within a couple years there, I was not incredibly happy there. So I asked a friend of mine, I was like, I can't do this the rest of my life. What should I do? And he's like, you should be a massage therapist. And it was one of those moments where like the skies open and, like, oh, you can hear birds.
Yeah.
Birds.
Angels.
Yeah. And I was like, that makes so much sense. And so I did go to school. It was a 2-year program. And then after I graduated, that's when I started doing massage part-time, but I was still working at the travel agency. And it's funny because honestly, I was really drawn to it and I really loved it, massage, but I did not have the confidence that I could do it and make a living. And so I stayed with that company longer than I should have. And finally, when I left, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this work. And I could not believe, just like when you set that intention and you put yourself out there and you take those steps. And I was studying and studying and studying. It made me appreciate it and love it even more. And I can't believe that I am able to do this. Like, I don't feel like I'm working. It's one of those moments that people always say, like, if you can find a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's so true. I do
Yeah.
love this work.
I've never seen you not smile. And I was going to ask, which is the same as me. I never work a day of my life. People say, when are you going to retire? I say, why would I? Like,
Yes.
it's too enjoyable. The pleasure of having people that you can talk to, interact with, help on their wellness journey. Yeah, it's amazing. Now, I want to ask about the master, how to become a master M.A.T, but you have segued perfectly into imposter syndromes. So talk to me about that, because I think that massage therapists, that is our greatest crime.
Yeah. I love asking everyone in the class. I'm like, okay, so any chiropractors in here? No? Okay. If you're a massage therapist, raise your hand. And of course, everyone in the class raises their hand. And I'm like, anyone in here feel like they have imposter syndrome? And some of them will raise their hand. They're like, yeah, I don't feel like I'm a massage therapist. And I'm like, well, you know what? You went to massage school, you graduated, you got your license. So guess what? You're a massage therapist. So don't worry about it. I feel that imposter syndrome creeps up when you feel like you are inferior, but the only way that you'll feel that way is if you're comparing yourself to someone else. And so I like to remind everyone to not look to others and compare yourself to them. They can be inspiration for you, but they weren't born that way. They studied hard, they worked hard, and they learned, and they gradually got to where they are. You're not going to be born that way. Like, you're not going to be born as an Erik Dalton. He studied a lot with Philip Blumen and lots of other mentors to get where he got to. And you can do that too. It just takes time. So give yourself grace. Know that you are better today than you were yesterday. Keep pushing forward and forget about imposter syndrome. Like, we don't need to put a label on it. It's just inexperience. You will have that if you keep working towards a goal.
Yeah, well said, indeed. I find that the imposter syndrome comes up definitely with that self-doubt. And the greatest thing that I go is when people go, oh, I can't put my prices up. And that's when that imposter syndrome comes in and grabs their neck, pulls them out. No, I don't have the right to put my prices up because I'm only a massage therapist and I only work in this area, so I shouldn't be able to charge enough to be able to put food on the table and pay for the power bills. Like, it's insane when you talk to people and no, without a word of a lie, every I have ever spoken with on price increases I've never met anyone who said, oh no, I'm ruthlessly happy to put my prices up, never care, in our industry, because we're nurturers. And I have never seen anyone who's put their prices up that they then lost all of their clients and had to put their prices back down again.
Yeah.
Like that. I've never seen that. So
if you're good at what you do, know your value. And if you don't, like, go and check out other massage therapists, go get a massage, look at their website, see what they're charging, look at what the industry standard is. Know that information, but base your decisions off of that, not off of fear.
Yeah. And they say, try to hang around with 4 or 5 people who you believe are your peers. Like, surround yourself with people that you want to learn from versus people that you feel like you can teach down at. So, like, I'm not going to hang around with people that don't match my trajectory, I suppose. Like, I want people who have joy in their life.
Yeah.
I do not want to be around people who are bringing me down because that's where they are. Like, that's just, whether they're high academic or low academic, that's not my priority. Is not that. My priority is health, forgiveness, charity, like they're the goals, and they're the people I like to hang around with. So they don't always have to be academic. Like, don't think you have to hang around with Einstein.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, like by hanging around different people and groups of like-minded people. And I found this in my learnings as well. If you are only following this one person, then if they say something and you don't understand it, you may just hear that over and over and never understand it. But if you have somebody else in your life who could explain it a different way, then it opens you up to learning through the back door, right? And then you learn faster and you learn together faster, and it becomes more fun. No one likes to go through it alone.
Yeah, and I found that at the Costa Rica course, because like when I would listen to Erik from the front, and like he's teaching to 90 people, or like, you know, like there's a shitload of people there, and may not have got everything. And then like Judy would come through and show me the technique, or you'd come through, or Nate, and because I'm more a kinesthetic learner, you go, oh, there you go. So I did hear it, but I didn't acknowledge what it meant. And then when you touch, and I think that that's in our industry, we do have to actually have touch that assists us in our learning a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of nuance to some of Erik's work. Like you may hear, yeah, do this, but where you push and how hard you push. We did a video in Ireland when we were there in, was that 2019? I forget what year that was. Anyway, we went to it. I think it was before.
Yeah.
COVID. No, it was after COVID for sure. It must have been 2021, I think, was when we were there. And we did a video afterwards. It's called Pain Detectives in Ireland. It was with Aubrey and Erik. And I was one of the models. Thank you very much. And I'll never forget this. And this was the beauty of the workshops with Erik, is that you needed to take every opportunity that you could to get up on that table to feel his touch, because you would learn so much just from feeling how much effort he's putting into something. It may look like a lot, but it may actually be really light. And that's exactly what happened in that filming. He was working on my anterior hip capsule, trying to release that. And I always saw the videos and I'm like, okay, well, yeah, you know, and even thinking to myself while I'm on the table, I'm like, I'm hypermobile, so he could really crank that thing back. But I didn't truly understand that technique, because he was actually pushing the femoral head anterior, and it's not about taking the knee back posteriorly. It's about pushing the femoral head anteriorly to hydrate the anterior hip capsule. So I was like, oh, that's really light. Oh, and that's really different. And that's not what I thought. And I was like, wow, I need to like take a step back and like relearn that. And so I've just constantly been watching him, learning from him, and it was wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, because we need to be able to keep that the M.A.T itself, its integrity, because it gets watered down, like the Chinese whispers. You know?
Yeah.
And that's a perfect example. People just think, oh, I'm just pulling the knee into hip into extension. It's not. It's the femur into, as you said, driving it forward into the anterior capsule. What's the process to become a master M.A.T? Because I know there's a couple of people in Australia who I think have gone through it and are M.A.Ts, and very likely PUTTY or TATs.
Yes, there's a few MMTs. Those are Master Myoskeletal Therapists that are in Australia, and they'll be TAing with me. And so the process is 50 workshop hours. That's hands-on. So it could be with any of the educators for myoskeletal alignment therapy. And then 210 hours of continuing education. That's from the home study courses. So once you complete that, you get your MMT certification, which is, I have to say, pretty highly sought after, because there's over 300 MMTs within the Dalton Myoskeletal program. And each person, when you get your MMT, you get your own profile on the Erik Dalton page for somebody to come and read about you, find out where you are. And I get people that come from all over the place because I'm one of the only MMTs. There's a few more now since I started teaching in the South. But I was one of the only MMTs in the entire South for a
Oh, wow.
long time. Yeah. So I had people coming from Asheville, North Carolina. I had someone who is funny. She's in Atlanta, but she was going to a therapist in California who sent her to someone in Tennessee, who then was like, well, why are you coming to me? Why don't you just go to Scott in Atlanta?
Oh,
It's wild. Yeah.
yeah. So an MMT is not the same as like you as a teacher?
I am an MMT, but a Master Myoskeletal Therapist is just somebody who's completed the coursework and the workshop hours.
So how do you become a U as in teaching?
An
Like what's
instructor.
that step?
Well, we have Kim Miller, who's the director of education, and she's the one that holds the keys to the kingdom.
Yes.
You have to become a TA first, and you have to TA for a while after you've gotten your MMT, because you really have to know your content, and you have
Yes.
to be able to explain it, and you have to be able to show it while you're speaking. And so they're working on a program to create more educators for the Dalton program. So that's something behind the scenes that they're working on. But it's going to be kind of like going back to school, because they want you to understand how to use your presentation, how to work with people, how to, I mean, they cover all the topics. It's going to be a really great program once it's up and running, but they are working on that behind the scenes.
Yeah, wow. And you said that to become an MMT, you have to do 50
50
face-to-face.
hands-on hours.
Oh,
So
50
that's
head. So that course, like we met Jessica Jorgensen and a few of them. She's now an MMT, I believe. So how many? That was, I can't remember how many hours that week
I
was.
think that was 32 hours.
Yeah, something like that. So
Yeah.
people could make it up in like 32 hours, and then a couple of weekend kind of courses, or just a whole
Right.
pile of weekenders. And then the 210, that's
That's the home library. That consists of the foundational bundle, which is 3 home study courses. There's the
yeah.
pain posture performance, the upper body and the lower body dynamic lower body courses. So those are 3 talk about kind of the science behind what you're doing. Then you have the advanced bundle, which consists of the shoulder, arm, and hand, the technique tour, treating trapped nerves, which is a great one for nerve mobilizations. And then you have art of mat and motion is lotion. And those
Okay.
last 2 are they are case studies. So they're fantastic for kind of putting the whole thing together and understanding or giving yourself a vision for what a mat session looks like. So when I first started, I started with a foundational bundle, and I also got, I think, motion is lotion at the time, so that I could see what I was going for. Like, they bring somebody in, just to give you an example, they'll say like, this one is for Dina's right shoulder. And so they
Yeah.
bring Dina in and they talk about her shoulder. They do a full assessment. They do arm ranges of motion. They talk about her history. And then they show the treatment, and they assess and treat, assess and treat. And then they give corrective exercises afterwards to help her with her shoulder issues. And
Cool.
so it's really great to see that, because if you're only used to being in a dark room with lotion by yourself with someone who's sleeping on the table, and
yeah.
you just don't know where you are, like, that's how
Yeah.
I got so much neck pain, because I was, in bad posture while I was working like that. To then switching to a whole different routine. My clients are all clothed. I just have a vinyl cover on my table, and they're on and off the table, in and out of gravity, as we're reassessing, seeing how things have changed. It's pretty different from your standard massage.
It's a fantastic way, and It's very, very similar to my treatment style. And it's one of those things about trying to get therapists' heads out of the oil game, oil and pan pipes and whales in the background. Like, we don't need to do that after so many years, ladies and gentlemen. You can pick your own music. You don't have to listen to that stuff. Because honestly, it's like, you don't want your client on the table in total zen. You actually want them, if they're coming in with pathologies.
Right.
If they're coming in with pathologies, if they're tickety-boo and they just want a beautiful massage, down-regulate.
Yeah. Go for it. Get those whale songs.
Yeah. Ding. But aside from that, close on, up, movement, get them to be able to understand that. And like, for me, teaching, the hardest paradigm is to get therapists to go, how do I integrate my current oil-based, no clothes except jocks and undies? How do I get them from there to Scott on the table, fully clothed, vinyl thing? How do you go through that with your teaching your students?
Yeah, so I went through that myself. Like, I started with more relaxation-based massage, and I had to, as I was learning the techniques, and that's what I started with, was that pec stretch, that one that I talked about earlier. I remember my first client that I tried, and I came back from that workshop in West Palm Beach, and I'm like, I'm going to try one of these on this client. I think she'd really like this. And so I just asked her straight up while we were in the session. I was like, hey, I learned this new technique at this workshop this last weekend, and I think it would really help you a lot. Would you mind if I tried this on your shoulder? She's like, yeah. So I put her in side lying, which I'd hardly ever used side lying before. Got her in side lying. She's draped and everything appropriately. And then I did the pec stretch, PNF, and she was like, "Oh, that's amazing." And she requested that every time she saw me after that. And so I just started adding to my repertoire of techniques. I'm like, hey, would you mind if I try this out? And of course, I'd already tried it with colleagues and stuff, just to make sure I had the technique down. I'm not using my clients as guinea pigs. But I couldn't believe it. And it just made it so easy to start incorporating things. While myoskeletal alignment therapy is not a technique that uses draping, I do respect and understand that there are therapists who still are in that environment and need to make that transition through. So I do offer the opportunity to show draping for any of the techniques, because you can do it for about 99% of them. There's maybe one or two that they need to be clothed for. But yeah, it is possible to do.
Okay, that's good to know. And same. There's things that when they're wearing bra and pants, it's more of a problem for me than for them, because I'm trying to get them, like, I'm trying to drape them so I feel comfortable, that they're comfortable. Most of them, they don't care, right? Like, they're throwing everything off and trying to get on the table when you're rushing to cover them. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, that's really, really interesting that that you can do closed. And that's, I can't stress enough that we don't need to be only thinking oil-based, and that you can integrate slowly from oil-based through. And there's nothing actually wrong with using them as guinea pigs, providing they give you permission. Like, yes. I'm all about guinea pigging. I did one of the strain counter strain group courses, and they're mind-boggling, palpation specific. And I'd say to my client, can you just hold that sheet there so I can read what position I've got to be on your, like, hold that. I've got to do this here. And they quite love that you're spending enough interest in looking after them, in my experience.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell us what dates, etc., and that they can come and get your wise, learned skills, my friend.
Yeah, so Geelong is going to be September 13th and 14th. And then the following weekend is the Gold Coast, September 20th and 21st.
Yeah, amazing. So if you want to do both together, website, is there a...
Yeah, so on Erik Dalton's website, it's erikdalton.com/workshops. That's where you're going to find the workshops. That's where you can register for the classes. The class in Geelong is going to be at Eden Oaks Botanical Gardens, which is really nice.
Wow.
I'm very excited for that one. And then Shirley Strachan, she's the one who's going to be TAing with me and has been helping me tremendously to find the right place. And she said that she went there and the smell of the gum trees was just overwhelming and delicious, and that it just lends to a beautiful space. And then up in the Gold Coast, we're going to be at the Southport Community Center.
Oh yeah, that's there.
Yeah, so they've been very accommodating and helpful. And I've got Wendy Sauer. She's going to be helping me up there.
Okay, go Wendy, help him as much as you can. And if you need any help with any more plugging, either of you two, just feel free to reach out. We can maybe put a bit more marketing on the Chapman's Reflex group or the Your Musculoskeletal groups to help Scott get more people across the border. How many are you hoping for in these courses?
I think for Gold Coast, I could probably get about 25 to 30 maximum. And I could probably get about 30 to 35 maybe in Geelong.
Okay, yeah, good numbers. That's great. Yeah. Well,
Definitely. Yeah, I'm like, it's a long way to go. So I'm going to try and do a couple of classes. I know there's a lot of people who started the program already who have done some workshops. So this will be an opportunity to get your hands-in hours completed. And we are planning on hopefully being able to come back next year as well.
wow. Oh, that's great. I mean, I'd stick my nose in the door again, except I'm not doing Geelong. It's actually I can't do either because I'm going to be sailing in Tahiti.
Oh, la-di-da.
2 weeks with there's 16 of us, 4 couples on each boat. So
That sounds amazing.
it will be all about chilling out and relaxing. Well, Scott, thank you so much for coming on board. I hope this has been as much fun for you as it has been for me, and I hope that people out there get an understanding of the power of Erik's work, because it is amazing. For me to get 3 weeks of pain-free hip and then, a couple of months later have to have a total hip replacement, that screams miles about how much it can make a difference to an actual arthritic, shitty old joint. And Scott, good luck with everything. I hope that you get the classes fill up really fast and that we can get you back down in 2026.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I'm sad I'm going to miss you, but I have something for you when I come down there. So I'll leave it with someone to make sure that you get it.
Oh, unreal. I love that. I love the old Dalton gay hat. I'm so really excited. What was I going to say? Everybody, hopefully we're going to get Tammy McCure. I'm hoping to get her on in the next month. She's a bit excited to come along, and we'll see maybe someone from the UK area so that people from the UK can. It was 2 a.m. when we came on for UK Europe, so then we weren't getting a big pump over there. But you can't have it everywhere. And I'm not setting these up at 2 a.m. in the morning because my gorgeous girls from the Philippines are not going to do that for them either. Anyway, See you later, everybody. Thank you again, Scott. And we'll catch you for the next Ask Me Anything in June. Cheers.